Tonight on the Final Play.
Keep it on the ground. Ingram turns to the left side. He's running to the pylon and walks in.
What's up? I'm telling you all what's up.
The Saints are on the up and up with their 4th straight win, tied for the longest current streak in the NFL.
I wouldn't call us a dominant team, but we're striving to be that type of team.
We've got full reaction from Green Bay and analysis from Jim Henderson.
And that just might be the icing on the Saints' cake.
Plus,
we understand, we know who we are now.
LSU is sporting a 3-game win streak that's given them a major confidence boost.
He taking the ball from people these days.
I mean, I got to eat what's on your plate, man. I was starving out there, man.
We'll recap the weekend on the gridiron and see if the Pelicans' addition of Jameer Nelson could help secure their first win of the season. The Final Play starts right now.
From Fox 8 Sports, this is the Final Play, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer, built Ford tough, and Nissan.
Welcome in to the Final Play, where it's been a while since we could say we're focusing on one of the hottest teams in the NFL. I'm your host, Chris Hagan. The Saints took their 3-game win streak to Green Bay, where against the Packers and the weather, they prevailed. But it didn't come without the ups and downs that this year's black and gold team has learned to overcome. Here's Juan Kincaid from the more wet than frozen tundra.
When you're on the road in the NFL, it almost goes without saying that you cannot beat yourselves. The Saints could have used a pregame reminder of this because of the way they came out against the Packers today at Lambeau Field.
We're still learning. You know, I think it's not time to come up with any summaries yet. We still have a lot of work ahead of us, and very easily could have lost a game like this with some of the mistakes.
No Aaron Rodgers for the Packers, no problem for the Packers early. Brett Hundley, the backup, only threw the ball twice in the first quarter, but he didn't need to throw it when he had Aaron Jones to hand it off to. Green Bay's first possession of the game, 75 yards in 5 plays. The 5th and final carry by Jones, 46-yard touchdown, giving the Packers a 7-0 lead.
There's Jones down to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown.
The Saints, meanwhile, couldn't get out of their own way. More specifically, Drew Brees couldn't stop killing Saints drives. The Saints' first drive of the game, very promising until the end. Drew Brees, this attempt to Brandon Coleman is intercepted. Next Saints possession, and Brees throws another bad ball, this one intended for Michael Thomas. It's also picked off, this time by Devin House. So the team that began last week's game against the Lions with no turnovers in its first 4 games now has 5 turnovers in the last 4 quarters.
A couple mistakes, for me, just a couple poor throws. Felt like I had the matchups I wanted, just poor throws. So it was disappointing, especially when you're starting to get down in the scoring zone.
Lucky for the Saints, their defense bowed up and didn't allow any points off the turnovers, and they finally got their first score of the game on their 3rd possession, a 7-play, 53-yard drive in just over 3 minutes, capped by Mark Ingram bouncing to the left side into the end zone from 12 yards out. That tied the game at 7.
What's up? I'm telling you all what's up.
As for Hundley, he showed how dangerous he could be in the second quarter. Saints lose containment and can't keep Hundley out of the end zone. A 14-yard score, and the Packers took a 14-7 lead into halftime.
He gets overlooked. He can make all the throws. Obviously, he's athletic enough to get out of the pocket. We let him escape a few times, and I think he had 2 scrambles for almost over 30 yards. So he made all the plays that he needed to make, but obviously today we just came out and won. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And it might not have been pretty at times, but we won.
We were hurting ourselves. We had 2 interceptions. They had a big run that creased us. We knew that if we just calmed down, stopped them big plays, didn't turn the ball over, if we just played our game, because we were doing what we planned on doing. We were running the ball well. We had some, we were passing the ball well. We were playing good defense. We just had a big play that we allowed and 2 turnovers. So we just wanted to lock in. Knew we had the ball coming out of half, and we wanted to, take advantage of it.
At halftime, you could have, against this team, easily been down 14, 21 points. We were down 7 and kind of looking at each other like, let's go.
And go they did. The Saints needed an answer to start the 3rd quarter, and they got it. Drew Brees sells the pump fake and finds Brandon Coleman back of the end zone. 22-yard score, his 500th career touchdown. Extra point no good, so the Saints still trailed 14-13. Will Lutz would make up for it on his team's next possession with this 28-yard field goal, giving the Saints a 16-14 lead. And then the teams would trade field goals to start the 4th quarter. And then the drive of the game, beginning at their own 45-yard line. Only 4 players would touch the ball on this drive. Michael Thomas with one of his 7 catches. Mark Ingram with 23 of his team-leading 105 yards rushing. Alvin Kamara contributing some of his 57 yards rushing on this run. And Drew Brees capped off the drive with the shortest of touchdowns as the Saints went up 26-17. And they'd put this game on ice with their first turnover of the game. Kenny Vaccaro picking off Hundley, wrapping up the Saints' 4th straight win and their first at Lambeau Field since 2006.
We were behind at the half in that game too, I think 14-13 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, listen, we've had some good battles with these guys. It seems like we've played them a fair number of games. We had that 11 game, you know, that was here on a Thursday night to open the season after their Super Bowl. They all kind of run together after a while, which I don't know that that's a good thing, but they do.
I love that we win as a team. I love that we're still able to laugh on the sidelines because, you know, we know that we have a potent offense. We know that they're going to put points up. You know, I think they had 2 turnovers or whatever it was. We have the confidence to be able to overcome that, which we showed.
I wouldn't call us a dominant team, but we're striving to be that type of a team. You know, I mean, I think what I like is that we're encountering a lot of different situations and things in games and finding different ways to win, and I think learning a lot about ourselves in the process, finding what our bread and butter is offensively, defensively, and just continuing to build confidence with these wins.
Hey, with the voice of the Saints, Jim Henderson, it's all about halftime adjustments for this football team. They go in down by 7, have a horrible first half, but yet they find the way with a talk at halftime.
Well, they win the toss of the coin and elect to defer, and we've seen that so often with this team that when they do defer, they make halftime adjustments and come out in the second half and take that kickoff and take it right downfield for a touchdown, as they did.
Sean Payton says, get those cleats right, boys, and they needed them in these conditions today.
Yeah, it's pretty slippery out there. I mean, I don't think anybody really liked this field that much because there wasn't all that much rain, but it was pretty slick for both teams, and more so for the Saints. Kamara slipped a couple of times. Drew did as well. Ted Ginn had some problems with his footing. So, yeah, just part of going on the road and winning in enemy territory.
What does it tell you about this team? They can overcome 2 early turnovers, and Brees said they were bad throws by him, all his fault, and still find a way to come back and not change their game plan and how they're going to approach winning.
Well, when you look at this game, how often can you throw interceptions in the red zone twice? Essentially giving away probably 10, maybe 14 points and still come back and win. But they had a great game plan against the young quarterback. They were very patient on the ground. Time of possession was very much in the Saints' favor. So they were patient. They didn't panic. They stayed with their game plan, and they made Hundley beat them through the air, and he couldn't do it.
Only 87 yards passing for him, less than 50% throws, and 1 touchdown rushing the ball. Real quickly, Jim, they're 3-1 on the road. Who is this football team? Who are they?
Well, they're certainly not the team we saw the first 2 games.
Not who we thought they were.
1 on the road and 1 at home, because they truly have turned it around. They're playing complementary football. Kenny Vaccaro with another interception, another big play. So you learn that you lose the turnover differential. You throw 2 interceptions in the red zone, and you still come away with a pretty impressive victory. So they had a great opportunity here today with Hundley being the quarterback. They knew that. It was a banged-up Green Bay team, and they never truly let them get in. But you felt in the second half, man, we've let this team stay around for too long. This team should be taken care of and put away, and eventually they did.
And instead, the Saints get their first win in Green Bay since 2006. 4 wins in a row, first time since 2013. Both those years, they made the playoffs.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Does indeed. Have a trip back, Jim. Thank you very much.
All right, Juan.
Let's go back to the studio.
That's just the start of a jam-packed 24 hours from Jim. Be sure to catch the voice of the Saints on Fox 8 News Morning Edition at 8 for the Black and Gold Rewind. Then at 5, the award-winning commentary needs no introduction. And at 10:35, we wrap it all up with Jim Henderson's Black and Gold Review Show. You can get your questions in for the show via the Final Word feature in the FinalPlay app. Coming up, pregame rain delayed the tarp being removed from Lambeau Field, and the conditions delayed the Saints scoring. Find out how they persevered the elements to prevail.
You're watching the Final Play.
Yeah, I thought about it. I'm like, I got to find if there's some Saints fans, you know, in that first row, because I know if you jump up there with some Green Bay Packers fans, you're going to get ejected. So I looked and I saw 2 Saints fans like, come here. And I was like, it's my time. It's my opportunity. So I took advantage of it.
Mark Ingram was a big reason why this will be a Sunday to remember for a lot of Saints players, getting a rare win in Lambeau. And while he had the footing to make the leap, that wasn't always the case today. The weather added an element to the game that took some getting used to for the Saints. Sean Fazand explains how they made the most out of the situation to come home with the win.
From the fast turf and climate-controlled confines of the Superdome last week to the slick grass and wind and rain of Lambeau Field this week, the contrast in conditions contributed to the contrast in style of play for the Saints on Sunday.
Footing, obviously slick conditions, and I think just the field itself. If you don't have your feet under you, you're probably going to slip. So you just gotta be conscious of that.
Fortunately, they were. Despite a few slips early on, the Saints overall held a pretty good grip on the grass concerns, thanks to some different footwear. Most players wore the longer, screw-in cleats.
We felt like it was going to be a tough footing game. Our equipment guys were outstanding. We had the right shoes. There were so many plays on tape of guys not wearing the right shoes. And we've been over in London, went through that, and guys felt we were on point with the footing. That was important.
And by the time the second half rolled around, they were completely comfortable and confident in those conditions. After going into the locker room down 14-7, they outscored the Packers 19-3 the rest of the way to win the game 26-17. The reward was not just their fourth win in a row, but also, according to some players, complimentary pedicures for wearing different and slightly more uncomfortable cleats. Players are eager to take their head coach up on that promise.
They get that little cheese grater thing and kind of get all the calluses off the bottom of my feet. That's about it.
Absolutely. Got to take care of your feet. Nah, I just go with the clear. Yeah, I just go with the clear. I'm ashamed I even know that. But.
Breeze also knows whether they're in turf shoes or screw-in cleats, this team is playing its best football in years. The key now is to keep this train rolling. I'm Sean Fazand for the Final Play.
Much more Saints talk on deck for Jim Henderson's Black and Gold review show tomorrow night, as well as on Thursday's game plan, both at 10:35. Friday night is high school time as Sean Fazand and I bring you highlights from across the area. Sunday, the game day routine, tailgate at 10 a.m., kickoff at noon, recap and reaction Sunday night right here on the Final Play. Coming up, LSU is back and as confident as ever after beating 3 straight SEC teams. Find out how the Tigers are in position to make a run at Alabama's undefeated record. And we'll take you around the state, where Tulane came up just short of a huge comeback, and Southeastern continues to light up the scoreboard.
The Final Play.
LSU tight end and New Orleans native Foster Moreau called out roller coaster fans after their win over Florida 2 weeks ago, telling everyone to get on board. If you did, your faith's been rewarded with a 3-game win streak, including a dominant effort Saturday night on the road at Ole Miss. In the process, we saw a Tigers team that finally looks healthy and finally discovered a true team identity. It took 8 games, but LSU running back Darius Geis finally looked like himself when the Tigers needed it most. On a night where quarterback Danny Etling didn't complete a single pass to a wide receiver, it didn't matter that much, as Geis racked up 276 yards against Ole Miss.
Coach O made sure he kept all of us hyped up. We all know the history with Coach O and Ole Miss, so he did a great job keeping us all hyped up. Punching his chin, come out fighting, come up with your fist up, and leave with your fist up. It's just one of those games, Coach O didn't talk about it a lot, but we knew we had to pull it off for him.
Big plays fuel emotion, and when you start making big plays and when you start running the ball on people and they play LSU football and you start getting sacks, it gives everybody confidence.
And while number 5 gets the headlines, Darrell Williams deserves just as much credit for the Tigers' output of nearly 600 yards. The senior running back out of John Ehret had more than 100 yards on the ground and in the air.
That's a team player, man. You know, when I got here, you know, I was one of the players that, you know, always knew everything. When I say everything, I mean everything about the whole offense. You know, what all the receivers doing, what the blocking schemes are. That's just he's a homework guy when it comes to the football playbook.
I've been blessed with some of the best running backs, you know, not only in college football, but, you know, just in football in general. And I you know, last year I had 2 great backs, and this year, again, we've had tremendous production from those 2 guys, and they continue to keep getting better and better, and we'll find ways to get them the ball.
Defensively, the Tigers kept one of the best quarterbacks they'll face this year out of the end zone, Shea Patterson, while getting beat around by a much lighter and quicker Arden Key, threw 3 interceptions with a career-low 43% of his passes completed.
We built a foundation. We really live off the DBU moniker. You know, we know a lot of older guys are still watching us, and they still want to see us ball out. So, you know, getting those picked and being the key piece for a defense to play this good this game is really exciting.
As we all know, next comes unbeaten Alabama, a game that's talked about year-round, and Coach Orgeron is ready to face the challenge head-on.
And LSU, Alabama, they get bigger than that, you know, but you know, we're going to worry about that when we come back from a break on next Sunday. We're going to have 1 Alabama practice on a Wednesday, get our guys rested, and then I know this is going to be a game that they're going to be up for, and we all know it's a big challenge, but they're going to be up and ready to go.
The 8-0 Crimson Tide will be waiting after burying Tennessee yesterday, and maybe the Vols head coach Butch Jones's tenure there in the process. No surprise to see them with all 61 first-place votes. Penn State took down Michigan to improve to 7-0. Georgia also remains perfect. They get Florida next week. TCU, Wisconsin, and Ohio State come in at 4, 5, and 6. South Florida, after beating Tulane by 6 in Ullman Stadium, moves back from 16 to 17 this week. Central Florida right below them at 18. Despite having the same record as LSU, Auburn still sits 4 spots ahead of the Tigers at 19. Memphis, who Tulane gets next week, comes in ranked 24th. Tulane, meanwhile, is at a real crossroads in their season. 2 weeks ago, just like they were in 2016, the Green Wave are 3-2 with things looking up. Now, after back-to-back losses, it's back to the drawing board. Here's Garland Gillen with a recap of the weekend.
This Teron Ancalad 73-yard touchdown reception from Jonathan Banks cut South Florida's lead to 13-7. The crowd at Ullman finally felt the weight could hang with the top 20 team. But then quarterback Quentin Flowers went to work.
Flowers taking a shot toward the end zone. And it is caught. Touchdown, Solomon.
His offense erupted for 21 unanswered points. Too much for Tulane to overcome on this night.
Yeah, you know, just if you get 2 in a gap, he's going to kill you. You know, he'll step up in the pocket. And then if you know, we had, I believe it was 3 times where we pretty much sent the house and we lost leverage on the outside, you know, and one of them was on a 3rd and 10, I think. And if we just, you know, keep them between us, we're going to get a loss of probably 10 yards maybe. You know, so just, you know, we talked and worked on it all week, but when you get out there and you see the real deal, it's a little bit different.
Tulane did mount a substantial comeback in the 4th quarter, scoring 14 points, but ran out of time in the end.
You know, the best thing I saw in the ball game was just, you know, everybody was fighting throughout the game. And I told them that's really the best I've seen it since I've been here, where I had a bunch of unselfish people on the sideline really, you know, fighting for each other, and that's good.
It's now a short week for the Tulane Green Wave. They travel to Memphis on Friday night. The Tigers are also in the AP Top 25. From Uptown, Garland Gillen for the Final Play.
Thank you, Garland. Where Tulane lacked the offense, Southeastern certainly did not. The Lions are on fire after winning a 5th straight game Saturday against Abilene Christian, 56-21. The Lions got 1 top 25 vote in last week's FCS coaches poll and should pick up a few more heading into this week's matchup with 7th-ranked Sam Houston State and Hammond America. As for a few teams to the west of us, Southern brings a rivalry win back to Baton Rouge, beating Jackson State 35-17, while the Raging Cajuns fall below 500 with a 47-3 road loss to Arkansas State. Still to come, the best of the best from high school football this week, and we check in on the Pelicans and the World Series.
You're watching The Final Play.
Our catch of the week is just as much the throw of the week. Drew Brees to Brandon Coleman to cap off the Saints' first drive in the second half, and marks number 9's 500th career touchdown pass, and of course proved crucial in the Saints' comeback effort. As for our high school play of the week, Newman trying to stay perfect on the season. Martin Butcher scrambles. South Plaquemines tips the pass, but James Poche snags it and stretches across the goal line for the score, part of a 48-20 victory. Newman now 8-0 this year, which brings us to our Player of the Week nominee. Several familiar names here, starting with Covington running back Devin Brumfield, who totaled 255 yards rushing and scored the winning touchdown in their win over North Shore. Hanville's Puka Williams also makes the list after 334 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns to BD St. John. And completing the running back trifecta, Newman's James Poche with 4 total touchdowns, 3 on the ground and 1 in the air, to propel them to 8-0. Voting runs Monday through Wednesday at fox8live.com/player. And should you miss a score or want to see some highlights, again, head over to the Fox 8 News app or fox8live.com, where we've got highlights from Week 8. Plus, you can catch up on the latest recruiting news, check out our weekly power rankings, and preview next week's action. Well, 2 games and 2 losses into the season, the Pelicans haven't given fans much to be hopeful for. Tonight, however, they had a golden opportunity in a star-packed game in Los Angeles, and lo and behold, they were able to pull it out. They win 119-112. Anthony Davis finished with 27 points and 17 boards. They almost blew a 20-point lead in the second half, but they are able to win it. They will face the Portland Trail Blazers on Tuesday in Portland. Jameer Nelson had 5 points in his debut and a huge 3 down the stretch for the Pelicans. And finally tonight, the Houston Astros are headed to the World Series to face the Los Angeles Dodgers, partly due to web gems like this from former Tiger Alex Bregman at third base. Gets the runner at the plate there. They shut out the Yankees Saturday night 4-0 in Game 7. As the celebration is on in Houston, I'm sure they're still partying out there. World Series Game 1 right here on Fox 8 beginning on Tuesday night. So what a Sunday with the Falcons and the Panthers losing. The Saints are now the NFC South leader, and we can't leave you on a higher note than that. That's going to do it for us here on The Final Play. For everyone involved here at Fox 8, we hope you have a great night.
From Fox 8 Sports, this has been The Final Play.